Welcome, fellow patriots. My name is author Larry, and my channel is Patriotic Ideals. This is a political channel where I discuss the challenges facing our great nation and offer some solutions that I consider appropriate. If you like this content, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely free and it will help build the channel. Today we're going to talk about America, the inflation nation. Let's chat. My friends, we are constantly reminded of how America is the leading economy and the most powerful nation on earth. But is that an illusion? Maybe we need to re-examine whether that is still true, considering the vast changes that have taken place in the American economy in the last 70 years or so. World War II shattered and destroyed the economies of many of the nations on our planet. After the war in 1945, many nations began to rebuild. But it is true that the war took place on other continents, and the United States emerged deep in debt, but relatively unscathed from the property destruction that existed in other countries. It is also true that more than half of the world's population was engulfed in communism. Democracy and capitalism only existed in the United States and Western Europe. In the 10 or 20 years following the war, and primarily due to democracy and capitalism, the United States became the powerhouse economy of planet Earth. Because our forefathers envisioned that the people should have the right to own property and capital and accumulate wealth, America became the greatest society ever created in the history of mankind. Infrastructure was being built and resources developed so that we could build all the products invented and needed for American consumers. In addition, every country on the planet seemed to want to buy American products. Capital was available and devoted to these efforts, and accordingly, inflation remained tame. In the 60s, however, some changes began to take place. Revolt, seemingly inspired by socialist and communist sympathizers because it was a revolt against our capitalist way of life, began to take hold. Although they referred to themselves as socialists, it was no secret at the time that there were many communist sympathizers in America. Government was inspired in the 1960s to create rules to dictate to educational institutions and employers whom they should hire and whom they should teach, leaving behind what was called the white Christian majority. Lyndon Johnson borrowed the money out of the Social Security program to create his economic assistance programs, which created a great imbalance between supply and demand and caused the huge inflation of the 1970s. Thus began the inflation nation. In 1966, after military service, I bought my first new car, a new Chevy Impala, $2,866. We like to talk about 2% inflation targets in America. If we inflate the cost of my 1966 Impala at 2% compounded annually since that time, today's comparable car would cost about $8,000. We would still be living in the United States of America if that was true. But we know that today's cars cost about 5 times that much. My calculations tell me that my 1966 car has escalated in price by about 10% compounded annually since that time. In fact, if you look at everything we eat, live in, use, and drive today, bread, cars, vegetables, meats, housing, rents, appliances, everything, it has all escalated just as much in price. Apparently, 2% inflation is a myth. Economists have been telling us for a long time that sending all our products to be manufactured overseas, where they could be made for less, would reduce our cost of living here at home. That has proven to be untrue. Apparently, unreliable supply from other countries has raised our cost of living. Since we have shipped almost everything we need here to be produced elsewhere, does that not also raise the issue of how large our economy really is? What do we make in the United States now? Well, we make technology. Facebook and Google and cryptocurrency entries on someone's computer. My friends, these things are very nice, but we can't eat them or wash our clothes in them. We have nothing to supply the needs of the rest of, we make nothing to supply the needs of the rest of the world either, except government borrowed money. Perhaps we still have the highest gross national product numbers in the world only because they have been inflated by many thousands of %. Does China, which has over 1 billion people, already make more things than we do in America? Does tiny Japan actually make more things than we do in America? Now we will be sending more products to be made in India, which has over 1 billion people. Perhaps our gross national product numbers are just as much a lie as our 2% inflation target. What should we be counting as gross national product? Certainly, it is legitimate to question whether the $35 trillion the government borrowed and spent should be part of our gross national product. Government borrowed money is not generated by our private economy. We are actually counting as gross national product things that are made elsewhere and are just sold here. It can be argued that we do not live in the United States of America that was forged by our forefathers to be the greatest society ever created. Perhaps we do not have an economy anymore at all. The goal in America has to be regenerating our economy with low inflation. There are several major changes required to accomplish that goal. The most important change we must start with is to reduce government borrowing and spending. Any economist who knows anything will tell you that government borrowing and spending is the primary cause of inflation. Eliminating government borrowing will also take capital away from government and put it back in the hands of domestic suppliers, which can make our products locally. We must bring manufacturing of products for American consumers back to America so that supply will be more reliable. We will be making things we need again, not just computer entries. We will be returning America to proper use of capital again and providing growth in our economy that does not cause inflation. Economic growth with extremely low inflation is the promise of democracy and capitalism that we experienced in the 1950s. Reducing government borrowing and spending and bringing production of our products back to America is the formula for restoring our economy and our great country. This subject and many others are discussed in the books I have written. Past, Present, and Future Planet Earth discusses the birth and growth of intelligent life on our planet and culminates in the creation of the greatest society ever created on Earth. Love Letters to America credits our forefathers with the creation of our great society, but informs us that we have developed a great many problems in America that are taking us further and further away from the great society it was intended to be. I have written and included 33 love letters to Americans, identifying many of these problems and offering some solutions. My books are available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Remember, if you like this content, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Membership is free and it will help grow my channel. Your comments are always welcome and I will respond to all that I can. Look for weekly episodes. In our next episode next week, we will be talking about a central bank digital currency. Although you hear practically nothing about a central bank digital currency in today's press, it is the most important topic in America and has the power to completely alter and change our great nation. This is author Larry signing off for Patriotic Ideals. Please be sure to tune in again next week.